remain on the Extension Service Board. Farmland Protection Board, Mr. Tabb is on that board as well.
And I'd like to continue.
I figured you would. Is anybody else interested? Hearing none, if there are no objections, Commissioner Tabb will remain on the Farmland Protection Board. Jefferson County Visitors Bureau, I am currently serving on that. Is anybody else that would like to serve on that board? I don't mind continue serving on that board. Anyone else? Hearing none, I feel like an auctioneer here. Going once. If there are no objections, Commissioner Salvo will remain on the Jefferson County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. Jefferson County Emergency Services Board, Fire and Rescue Association. Commissioner Jackson is currently on there. Is there any takers?
I would like to serve as the liaison for the Fire and Rescue Association, not the ESA.
We did split that.
We split
Oh, you
that.
did?
Yeah,
yes.
Compton took that the first year we were, I did ESA and Compton took the fire and rescue. So we did split that previously.
Okay, why don't we split it again? Just so everyone knows, the Jefferson County Emergency Services Agency Board will be, I don't know the term, disbanded after March 1st. So it's only, that's only a 2-month service. So do we have any takers to be on the JCESA?
I'd like to remain on that.
All right. Anybody else? All right, here are no objections. Commissioner Jackson will remain on the Jefferson County Emergency Services Agency Board. Fire and Rescue Association, so since we're splitting these up, JCFRA, Commissioner Kraus has indicated she would like to be on that board. Is there anyone else? Hearing none, if there are no objections, Commissioner Kraus will be on that board. Historic Landmarks Commission, Commissioner Hudson was on that board. Is there any takers?
I would like that.
All right. Anyone else? All right, if there are no objections, Commissioner Kraus will be on the Historic Landmarks Commission. Homeland Security, Commissioner Jackson was on that last year. Does anybody have any interest? Nope, we'll come back.
I'll remain on it.
Oh, you will
Everybody
remain?
else.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, anybody else? If there are no objections, Commissioner Jackson will be on the Homeland Security Board. Legislative Liaison, that's all of us. We'll need to vote on that. Jefferson County Parks and Recreation, is there any takers for that board?
I'd be interested in that.
Okay. Yes.
Jennifer wants it, that's.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right, if there are no objections, Commissioner Kraus will be on the Jefferson County Parks and Recreation. Jefferson County Planning Commission, I have served on that. I'll be happy to serve again. Is there anybody else?
I'm interested. I think you all need a female on the board.
Oh, yeah, even out a little bit. All right. All right. All in favor for Commissioner Stahl to be on the Planning Commission, say by saying aye. Aye. All from Commissioner Tabb, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 3-2. Commissioner Stahl will remain on the Jefferson County Planning Commission. Region 9, I have served on that. Is there any other takers?
What is the region?
Region 9 is a quarterly meeting for basically infrastructure type of stuff.
I would like to do that one.
All right.
It's a lot mainly focused on roads, but some
Yeah.
other stuff. too.
Yeah, this is very informative about how our roads and how they're funded and where the money, sort of federal money comes from, as well as HIPAA as well. All right. I served on that before. It's certainly I don't object. I don't. You can do it.
Okay.
All right. Is anybody else? If there are no objections, Commissioner Aft will be on Region 9. Solid Waste Authority. We currently have Commissioner Aft on that. Do we have anyone else who will be interested? Well, just for this year. You were Commissioner Aft first.
I can stay on.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right. If there are no objections, Commissioner Aft will remain on Solid Waste Authority. Water Advisory Committee. Is there any takers for the Water Advisory Committee?
I'd like to remain on that.
All right. Anybody else? Any other takers? Hearing none, if there are no objections, Commissioner Tabb will remain on the Water Advisory Committee. Hagerstown Eastern Panhandle Metropolitan Planning Organization. Is there any takers that would like to participate on that board?
I just have a question about that. When we were at the mayor's meeting yesterday, they mentioned a possibility of starting a different region, I guess because of the growth in our county. Would that affect that? I know that hemp, whatever it is related to the Region 9 and.
Yeah, Region 9 hemp is sort of combined in a sense. HEMO is, it stands for Hagerstown, Eastern Panhandle. We're involved, we're also included in Washington County as well as
Okay.
Jefferson and Berkeley. So it's a
Okay.
multi-county
Gotcha.
function, which doesn't make any sense to me because we're included with the county of Maryland.
All right.
But that's how our federal funding comes down for roads and projects.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It is a little confusing while we're,
Just a little.
yes. I've served on, is there any takers to be on that board? I've served on last year. I don't mind serving again. All right, well, hearing none, if there are no objections, I'll remain on the Eastern Panhandle Metropolitan Planning Board. Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority, is there any takers for that board?
I'm interested in remaining on that board.
Okay. Anybody else? If there are no objections, Commissioner Tab will remain on the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority. Workforce Investment Act Liaison. Is there any takers for that board?
I'd like to remain on that board.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Hearing none, if there's no objections, Commissioner Jackson will remain on Workforce Investment Act Liaison. We have CETA. Is there anyone who would like to serve as the liaison on that board? We do need someone to volunteer. We could even maybe have two people and split it. So you wouldn't have to go to every meeting. As liaison, you're not a voting member, unfortunately.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. So, which I'm sure that's why we don't have too many takers. And so would anybody like to serve on that as the liaison? And it's even the board, as far as I know, they have, you can also video enter that meeting or call it.
I can do some.
All right. Commissioner App is agreed to do that, to participate on that board. If there are no objections, Commissioner App will be on the CETA board. All right, that's all. All right, approval of minutes. Are there any objections for the December 5th, 22 minutes? Hearing none, the December 5th, 22 amendments, if no objections will be approved. December 15th, 2022, are there any objections?
Excuse me, Commissioner President. No, we did. Okay, never mind. I was listening to 7 minutes.
All right, there are no objections to minutes for December 15th, 2022 is approved. Approval accounts payable for December 22nd, 2022, in the amount of $424,679.79. If there are no objections, it's approved. For the accounts payable for December 28th, 2022, for the amount of $3,785.23. If there's no objections, they are approved. I don't have amounts for.
So we were informed yesterday by the county clerk's office that last check run is on hold currently.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
We did not get numbers from the county clerk.
Understood. All right, approval of manual checks for December 23rd, 2022, an amount of $74,100.27. If there are no objections, that is approved. For December 29th, 2022, the amount of $5,679.32. If there are no objections, that is approved. Approval of requisitions for January 5th, 2023, an amount of $117,691.85. If there are no objections, that is approved. Approval of payroll for December 23rd, 2022, an amount of $288,750.44. If there are no objections, that is approved. All right, we're going to move on to public comment. We have a few people sign up for public comment. I would like to remind you to keep your comments respectful, and you do have 3 minutes. I'll call on the first name. You can come up and state your name and your address. It's Joanne Corinne.
Correct.
Corinne,
Yeah.
right here. You can have a seat there.
Joanne Curran, 2075 Lakeside Drive, Harper's Ferry. I'm just here to speak as a citizen. I'm so disheartened by some of our Board of Ed and their superintendent and how they're running things. I say running rather than serving because that's what it feels like. Every board meeting is the same. There's an agenda put out by the superintendent. I know citizens can't get anything put on the agenda. No discussion can even happen on a subject unless 3 members approve it. How is that useful? There is a majority of 3 that always think and vote alike. Even the teachers' opinions are basically ignored, such as at the recent board meetings. The superintendent and her BFFs on the board want to reduce the semester exam grades to a value of only 3%, or not even give an exam, even though the faculty senates at both high schools had already said they should be worth at least 10%. Teachers have a senate to represent them. That senate elects a chief to speak for them, and then the board ignores them. The board shows no confidence in the teachers' views, so teachers have no choice but to have no confidence in the board. Then apparently the superintendent put out a survey after this because friends of those in high places had expressed concerns that took priority. No, it didn't. There was no need for this since the system was already in place and the teachers had responded, let alone the appearance of impropriety that came out about 1 or 2 of the named board member families possibly benefiting financially from the lower exam level. That should have been enough for those 2 board members to recuse themselves from that vote. I heard one of those 2 named board members continually refer to testing as punishment for students over and over at the board meeting. This is not an appropriate perspective for a Board of Education member to have on education. None of us can have any confidence in them. The Spirit of Jefferson newspaper printed an excellent article addressing the board's action. It explains in detail everything you need to know from a teacher in whom we can have great confidence. Please read it. Everyone needs accountability. Believe me, I know the board positions are elected. They work for the citizens and we can vote them out at the election booth. However, the superintendent is not elected by the citizens, but is hired by the board and we can't fire her. She leads the 3 named board members around, basically makes all the decisions on education in Jefferson County. But sometimes, like now, the board does things that they need to be held accountable for now, not at the next election. Though the board is not directly accountable to anyone, they should always be transparent in how they spend their money. Our money, which they are not. We've all heard the boondoggle with the utilities for the new Shepherdstown Elementary School. Stories changed at each board meeting, costs change, requirements change. We've already done this. Oops, no, we didn't. Estimates and budgets included that. Oh, no, they don't. We'll need so much more money. And then there's all the accountability of hirings. Why are there so many admin positions added, yet not enough money to hire more teachers for the front lines of education and moving admin employees around back doors? Each time the 3 board members in question are always in agreement and win the vote. How is this even probable? It appears they're not all necessary.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do I give
If
this?
you want to hand that to our young lady over there, she'll
Thank you.
put that in there. Mr. David Taft? Mr. David Taft?
David Tabb, lifelong resident. 107 Tabb Lane, Hartsburg, West Virginia. I'm a person of many talents. Tired of my address being changed, so I bought my own rig. That's how you do things. I hope the county commission can take a moment in prayer to start this new commission with the newly placed elected officers in the county. We need all the help we can get. It already appears that 2 of the county commissioners out of the 5 already are engaged in the county process to be open and transparent. I encourage the other 3 county commissioners to follow their lead. The consensus that 1 county commission can control what and how the commission will force upon the public should be at an end. Y'all have been elected by the people. You're supposed to work in the best interest and answer to the residents of Jefferson County, not control it. Presentation 4, Bob Byrne, ESA. It appears that EMS continues to need more money above and beyond the budget. There's only paperwork justifying $12,754.09 for labor. The agenda packet does not reflect the $12,000. It only specifies $8,000. Then there's the $17,563.26 for supplies with no documentation of what the supplies or equipment was needed. Without the documentation to go along with the request, the Jefferson County Commission cannot approve any disbursements. This is pretty simple. New business, request from our new County Commissioner Kraft to open the meetings with prayer. I would hope everyone has read the documentation the newly elected County Commissioner Kraus has submitted. I believe that we need all the prayers we can get. The previous county commission has really put us in a bad situation. Number 8, budget review. Everyone has read Commissioner Jackson's submitted documents, also to consider an audit to include the review of the supposedly $58 million transfer from FY22 to 23. Let's see the money.
Mr. Ted,
Y'all
We'll
have
move
a
on
nice
to the-
day.
I'm sorry.
As always, y'all have a nice day.
Thank you.
And you allowed others to extend a
Our
little
next-
bit more, but then you come in with me.
Our next, we need to make a
We need
public
some more
comment.
prayer.
Ellen, Ken, is that right?
Good morning, Eleanor Kim, 37 Butcher Court, Shepherdstown. My concern today is with the comprehensive plan review. A marvelous, very participatory effort was made by Jennifer Bachman the first time around. It went on for a long time. Many members of the public were involved, had input, and I would like to see a similar process this time around, not just decisions made by the planning commission itself. You have surely noticed all of the huge number of single-family home developments that are going up here. That has an effect on schools, on roads, on water and sewer, on all kinds of things. I don't want Jefferson County to turn into Berkeley County. And I think we need citizen participation to help keep what we value here. I would like to see some opportunities for low-income housing, for senior citizen housing. So that's an issue that might be brought up and considered. Anyway, my concern is public participation in this process. Thank you.
All right. We're gonna be moving on to agenda item number 2, Angie Banks. Oh, I forgot to check the line. Sorry. Is anybody online? Sure. Oh, come forward. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Hope you have a good new year. Let's see. Did you look at the board of review notice and the date?
I did.
Yes, ma'am.
And, I have it down here starting January 26th, if that's good. Or we could wait until the 31st. I don't, you just want to leave it as it is? Okay, that's great. So just need your approval for the board of review notice.
I will move a motion to approve the scheduling and board review and equalization.
Second.
Any comments?
I just had a quick question.
Sure.
The calendar that was in the agenda packet was missing. You knew about that, was missing the date of February 2nd.
Yes,
So I see it here. It was on my.
it has been added.
Yes, okay, I just wanted to be sure this was the
Yes,
correct.
we skipped, but we have to meet every Tuesday and
Yes, ma'am.
Thursday because you can't go, I think it's like no more than 3 business days before you have
Okay,
the next meeting.
thank you.
Okay, and we may end up extending it beyond February 16th, and that's why it says planned sine die, just in case, because of weather, or if we have like a lot of people wanting to be heard.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
All right, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And then the other, we have 3 people that have signed up for October appeals. This past October is the last October we have to do October appeals, but they were not heard. And you as the county commission can extend that date. And do you want to go ahead and schedule them in January so they'll be done? Because that's for the 2022 tax year. And we're going to be working for the board of review as the 23 tax year.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with scheduling for a day.
So do you have a date in mind?
Now, you want to recommend a date?
Let's see.
We'll be there.
Let me look at the calendar.
We've got.
Your next,
Yeah.
your next commission meeting's the 19th. It's in the evening. Did you want to schedule them for an evening, or did you prefer just picking the day before the 19th? I don't want it to get in with the board of review. I'd rather have them done.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'm fine with doing it during the day, but I don't know about people that are, want to come before the board either, so.
We haven't talked to them yet because we're waiting for a date. I'm not sure that all 3 still want to appeal, but we have to give them that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm fine with the 19th, since we're already going to be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is, we will contact them and see if they want to be heard.
Sounds great. All right, we don't need a motion for that. You just schedule. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, moving on, Lynn Fields, probate office. I think Lynn's usually online. There you are.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm here from the county clerk's office, the probate office, to present a list of accountings and waivers that have met all of the deadlines and requirements of the probate office, and now need your approval to be closed.
And everyone, I assume, since you're presenting this list to us, everybody's provided the documentation for us to take action on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve accounts and waivers that have met the requirements of the probate office and are ready to be closed, and approve new estates that have been opened since the last quarterly review.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Bob Byrne.
Morning, folks, and Happy New Year. I always try, but I'm going to try and be quick here. Our update on the EMS transition. 6 of the ambulances have been through their mechanical readiness inspection. The 7th one is at the service vendor now, which leaves us 2 to go. Striping, marking, lettering, all that stuff is complete on 7 of the 9 ambulances. Number 8 is at the vendor now. So after that one, there's 1 left on that part. We're still continuing to meet with IT on a weekly basis. The programming of the radios, the first step is complete. The part where they actually touch the radios and do that part. There's another step that'll have to happen in the console or whatever, wherever they do their magic to tell the system it's all there. Russ and Tom have had or are in the process of wanting the technology hardware that the commission approved at the last meeting, I believe. So that is moving along. For the equipment supply inventory management system, we've received that's been ordered. We've received the hardware. Setup began a few weeks ago, and we have started the training this week, actually yesterday. And so that'll continue with its setup and getting everybody up to speed on how to save time and money. Reestablishing of billing capability. Great news there. On the December 30th, right before the end of the year, we were reinstated, approved by Medicare. That's a huge, huge, huge milestone. So JCSA is capable of billing for ambulance transports to Medicare. We still have, and they tell me that West Virginia Medicaid is almost complete. So the biggest one is Medicare. Anytime you're dealing with federal government. The second biggest, which is almost complete, is the West Virginia Medicaid, and we'll still need to get through West Virginia Highmark, but that's not really as critical or concerning as the other two. I believe I told you this in November or December. I can't remember which month specifically, but we were faced with the option when approaching this transition and the timeline that since the ESA had already established billing capability, we already had the accounts, we already had the MPI, and those things, we could do a change of information under the ESA, which basically update and refresh our stuff. And that would line us up to have this all complete by March. If we attempted to try to establish new accounts for under the county commission's tax ID number, then that was not going to happen by March by any means. So just to be completely clear again, JCSA will be able to operate the transition part as far as having the ambulances ready and being able to run the plan and bill for the service and collect the billing under the ESA. That's fine. It will not be ready to bill straight to the commission on March 1st. And I don't know what your all's timeline is for that, but I think we're going to be able to do what I understood you wanted to have done. I know I'm looking at you and you never said anything because it was Caleb there.
I'm just listening and learning.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, that's the long and short of that. Hiring for the 12 new positions, we've expanded our job posting to 14 job boards, and it's being picked up by aggregators across the internet. So everybody from here to Guam should know that we are looking for paramedics. Again, we have that issue of our wages not being enticing, but so we have very, very few paramedic applicants, but we're still doing the best we can to hustle with that. We're not going to have enough paramedics to fill all the paramedic roles we need, but to make the plan work, don't worry, we're used to doing a lot with a little. I think that's kind of the Jefferson County motto, is do a lot with a little. So we'll still have 6 units during the day. We'll have 5 units running overnight, as promised. One of those units will be a BLS unit to start out with, so we'll have EMTs and not a paramedic on it. And my team has been working on like where exactly to position that so we get the most bang for the buck. And that what we will not do is say a call's acuity is determined to be lower. So we have an EMT unit on this far end of the county, but the call's here and there's a paramedic right next door. We're not going to have the paramedic unit sit still and send the lower acuity unit, 25 minutes across the county to get to it. We're working all that out so that doesn't happen, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The other thing that we will do is, it is very important to me to get our lieutenants, our 24-hour shift supervisors, and the single point of contact off of a first due ambulance assignment and back where they can actually manage, monitor, mentor, supervise their people. We're going to delay that a little bit because those folks are all paramedics and we need to keep them in their seats for right now. So we'll delay that a little bit, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. We have 5 of our current EMTs are enrolled in the EMT to EMTA to paramedic bridge program that I've talked to you about. The ESA board approved some initial funding to get through this first 6 months. There is some cost associated for us, and that's just in backfilling those people when they're on duty but need to be in class. So we're not, it's not a huge investment, especially on an individual level, but since we do have to fill every seat 24 hours a day. We don't think it's fair for our employees who want to help us out, increase their certification and be able to fill a hole. We don't think it's fair to tell them that, they need, that they're going to,
Lose money.
they're going to lose money to go do this. So that's what we're working on there. So we see the light at the end of the tunnel, that there will be some EMTs we currently have that will be paramedics. And if this works well this year, that could be a regular source year after year, that we don't end up in this paramedic problem again. In the interim, since we have paramedic spots that we are not going to be able to fill, and we do have an abundance of EMT applicants, and we anticipate that we will have some of our EMTs converted to paramedics. We have hired 5 of the 12 people, and 2 of those are EMTs that are in paramedic spots right now. But as those others become paramedics, their spots be left behind. It will all work out. We didn't want to go crazy and, overhire everything in different categories, but this is where we felt comfortable that we know we can get the job done that you want done. Any arguments about that? Sorry, I didn't give anybody a chance to argue yet or tell me I'm crazy. Look, I'm cruising down. I'm almost to the bottom of the page.
You're doing good.
The space use agreements, we made an offer based on the guidance we received from the commission. That happened back in November. We met with myself, Administrator Nissel, and Commissioner Stolper at the request of the volunteer companies involved. We met with them on December 8th, received a counter offer, and there were some terms that they wanted to see in the lease document. And so that came back, and just this week, I think it was Tuesday, yeah, the 3rd, we sent back a counter offer along with the draft lease that we believe contained what they were looking for. So we're just waiting to hear back at this point. You saw that, I copied you on that, right? And you too, right? Okay. Sometimes my brain goes sideways here lately. It's the simple things that get going. On the request for the reimbursement of supplies and small equipment, I understand that dollar amount did not make it on the agenda. I put it in one place in my agenda request, and then I put the wrong number in another place, and I did not include it in the specific wording on the top. So, but the amount is $17,563.26. And Debbie hand delivered that to the county administrator's office on December 16th. It was an invoice with 87 pages of supporting documentation. So when I sent in my agenda request, I said, look, I'm not gonna resend all that. But the office asked for it yesterday, so we did end up emailing that down. So it's up to you. I believe in transparency, and I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. So if you don't wait to deal with that, it's fine. I understand. And then I have a request for the reimbursement of labor for the month of November. That is in the amount of $8,189.84.
Okay. What's the, as far as the reimbursement, so for the supplies and what's the pleasure of the commission? Do you all want Director Berner to send us the receipts, or do y'all, or he can email, how y'all want to handle it? Or we can put it on the next meeting too.
They have them now.
Oh, they have them now. Oh, I thought we
If
didn't
they
have them.
just
Okay.
aren't here for, I don't.
Oh, no, okay. Oh, well, we have them then. Yeah, if we're having them, shoot, that's fine. Okay, sorry. All right, I'll go ahead and move to prove that we, where's this money coming? It's coming out of ARPA. I'll move motion to approve the $17,563.26 to be pulled from ARPA funds. This is reimbursement for supplies and equipment expenses for November 2022.
Excuse me, was that $17,563.20 or
26.
26?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. As far as the labor reimbursement, where is that? funds is ARPA. Okay. I'll move a motion to pay the amount of $8,189.84 for labor reimbursement for November 2022. These funds will be pulled from our ARPA account.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Well, this is not discussion on the motions per se, but, and I know we have a new financial director and don't want to throw a lot at her at one time, which we will be doing with the budget. But I would like to have a updated rundown on our ARPA funds, because we know the pot's getting smaller and smaller.
Money does that, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Sometimes I run out of, I seem to have some month left over at the end of my money at home. Anyway.
Good way to put it.
Make it
I'm, some of you are aware, I don't know, some of you are not, but unfortunately, my right hand, Captain Considine, is leaving the agency. Her last day is tomorrow. That's quite a hit. She's been amazing for the last year and a half. She hit the ground running, and you know, I just can't say enough good things about her and how quickly she assumed that role. And I was concerned that there was going to be, and I knew that, I know this about me, I've got plenty of faults of like letting things go because I want to like show you everything perfectly before I ask you to do it. And that was not happening with her. If I wasn't giving her a new duty fast enough, she was telling me, I'm going to do this. So if you want to come watch, otherwise I'll figure it out, and made it happen. With that, I do need to ask, we're kind of at max capacity with our workload with, you know, just running the normal organization, which is some kind of important stuff. And we're in crunch time on the transition. And I need to know like how much, what the priority is as far as the effort we need to be putting in the conversion to a county department. I mean, I can do a lot, but I can't do it all. So like I need to run the organization. We're dealing with the transition. Is the conversion to a county department as high a priority or higher than either of those things so that I can shuffle things accordingly?
They want to make any recommendations or suggestions from Director Berner?
I mean, only speaking for myself.
Yes,
the department
that's his
would be my
opinion.
highest
Yeah.
priority. Sure. I don't know the budget of the rest of it.
I agree. Revenue service is the primary, making sure we're getting the ambulances out. And we have the staff to do that. And they can run is, for me, is a priority as well.
And as well as me, if, you know, you need staff to make things work. So, you know, I know filling this void is going to be tough, but you're going to need good staff to be successful.
Right.
So,
I mean, I will not drag my feet. I'm not playing games. I understand this is the will of the commission and this is what we're doing. And I'm a team player. We'll get it done. But there's only so many hours in a day.
Sure.
I don't want to fail at anything.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, and you've sort of lost your right hand.
Right.
Yeah, and I understand that's hard, but all the different pieces you're managing, so.
So if I could,
Delivery of services.
I could chime in for a minute. We do understand that Bob is short-staffed, and we did meet internally the other day with our staff, and then I had a subsequent meeting with my staff. And so we've got a list of things here that we're going to assist Bob on. And these are, a lot of these have to do with a meeting with the MCA, that's the medical collection group. We're going to set up we're beginning to set up general ledger accounts in Tyler so we can begin doing business, JCA business, March 1st. So we're saying we're getting with Tyler right now. They're going to help us set those up. We're going to be getting the JCA users, your users, into the system for bill approvals, invoice approvals. We're doing the budget transfer. We're going to be meeting with their accountant. We'll be getting into their QuickBooks, working those over into Tyler. So March 1st, we can begin managing the budgetary issues out of Tyler and not out of the QuickBooks they currently operate out. We've already met with the clerk's office on setting up the payroll. We've got to move all staff. We've got to get them into their proper class specifications. And there's about over a dozen of those class specifications. We'll be working with the clerk's office to get those in to the system, and then they'll be getting their onboarding packets. We've already talked to the insurance provider regarding the health insurance, the retirement program. They're all in the same system we're in, so that's going to be an easy transition. We're setting up new bank accounts to manage their accounts, and we'll be doing the transfer of funds. One of the big lifts that we have is the transfer of assets from JCEA over to the commission. Those assets, the major assets would include the building, which there's about a 900,000+ up on that building. We're going to have to put into the budget package. And then there's also vehicles. Those are the two big assets. So we'll be working with Nathan, drafting a letter to the JCEA board and morphing those assets over to the care of the commission. We've got that to do as well. That's about it. I think with that, we're going to get to the March 1st date. So we're all checked in, ready to go. We're setting up meetings next week. So I think we're in good shape. Whatever else we can help out with. I think the licensure issue is the big white elephant in the room with respect to our insurance company as well as Medicare. What's the other one? Medicare and Medicaid is what we haven't got secured yet.
We have Medicare, West Virginia Medicaid's almost complete.
So I'm not sure, I don't deal with the federal government, and I know that the gears of the federal government move very slowly, they grind very slowly. So they're, Bob's attempt to get them moving faster, we're at the mercy of the feds on that. So moving as fast as we can. The workaround for that will be, if we're not there by March 1st, we would be coming to you and saying we want to keep the ESA together as a agency, continue to build through them and their numbers, and then there'll be a pass-through for the money to come right to the commission. But the billing money needs to start coming to the commission March 1st.
I agree.
That's critical. Because that billing money will eventually pay for staffing as well as their other operating expenses. So we need to make sure that revenue stream is starting to come in.
Are you planning that the March 1st date would be when like the payroll change happens and the benefits and all that?
Yep.
But we're gonna need to get, when this happens, you're changing my employees' pay dates.
So there'll be.
And their pay cycle.
So the pay cycle they'll get paid 3 weeks in a row. If they follow on the opposite Friday that we follow, the opposite week, pay week that we follow, so they're gonna have to get a check, and a check to catch up. And so we know that's what has to happen.
Right, and then they have to like realign their household budgets and everything. What I'm asking is, if that's gonna happen the first payday of March, we need to get something out to them yesterday saying, this is the plan, this is how it's gonna come down. I don't wanna tell them in the middle of February that, hey, your next pay check is gonna be this, that, and the other.
So when we met with you the other day, Bob, we said, get us the names of those employees so we can start getting notifications out. So as soon as we get that, we're good to go.
Right, but I need something communicated to my staff, that's what I'm asking.
As soon as you give me that list, we'll get communication.
All right, any other questions for Director Bernard?
Well, I know you're a busy man and take care of yourself as you work your way through all this. I know it's a lot, and I'm very thankful for you, for your dedication to the project.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
When will we address how our policies and procedures line up with county?
So we have another internal meeting next week. We have a standing internal meeting every week. We go with that.
So, I know we've provided you with the policies. Is that good? Any information you need, let me know.
Yep.
I can't squeeze another meeting in my week. I already have multiple standing meetings for the transition and everything else.
Yeah, I think you're on our standing meeting.
I'll send you whatever I have, but I'm telling you, I cannot attend another weekly meeting.
Kind of critical that you do. Just saying, because you're a critical part of this transition. So, you and I can sidebar on those meeting times, and we'll work for Andrew School.
This goes back to my original question. I'm not sure what the rush is to have that part implemented by March 1st.
That's my goal is to have all that implemented by March 1st. I want to get all that buttoned up. So you and I can sidebar about the criticality of that. No issue, but I think we'll take that out of this venue.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any more other questions? All right, thank you, Bob. All right, moving on to Nathan Cochran. Do you have anything?
Because of the issues with appointing committees, persons and all, I didn't know how long that was going to take. So I'm putting off my stuff for, and then
All right.
moving to the next meeting.
For the record, Nathan Cochran doesn't have anything to say the first meeting of the
I
year.
was gonna say, Bob put you to the test, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, good deal. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, discussion and consideration of potential action drafting a letter of no confidence in the current Jefferson County Board of Education. This agenda item was put on here by Commissioner Kraus. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Kraus.
And Mr. Stolber, because statutorily our office is appointed to represent both you and the school board, I have to vacate myself from this.
Sure, thank you. All right. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. So over time, I have heard from several employees of the Jefferson County schools, and there have been many problems expressed to me about the school board and the superintendent. The most recent issue has to do with the vote of no confidence by our 2 high schools in the county, Washington High School and Jefferson High School. Their faculty senates have voted unanimously a vote of no confidence in Laurie Ogden, Mark Osborne, and Kathy Skimmer. Their decision to lower the weight that the exam grades have on student grades is a terrible idea. I won't take the time to get into it, but I think that we all agree. When the faculty senate sent their letter off to the West Virginia State Board of Education, they also sent their letter to us. Both schools did, to us at the county commission. They are very upset. They really, really would like our attention to this matter. And while I know that there are not very many things that we can do, we don't have much jurisdiction over the Board of Education. One thing that we can do is shine some sunlight on this issue by drafting our own letter, a vote of no confidence in these 3 members of the school board. That is something that we must do, and we must send along to the West Virginia State Board of Education as well. Pardon me. I would be happy to draft that letter for us to look at and sign and send by the next meeting. Thank you.
I'll just say I was following this vote and the situation with the board as well. And it concerned me for multiple reasons. I mean, we all got the emails from the faculty senates. I have concerns that it was done so quickly at the end of the term. I don't agree with lowering what the value of the test score is. I think that we should be trying to make our students more competitive, not lowering the bar. So it's not something that I support. I think a lot of parents have not supported it and the teachers have not supported it. So as Commissioner Kraus mentioned, there's not much we can do, but I would be in support of a letter of no confidence.
Yeah, I'm going to just bring some of Commissioner Ast's comments too. I mean, this impacts everything in our community. Economic development, people wanting to move here and put their kids in their schools. I mean, it impacts everything. It's a trickle down. So I am in support of also writing the letter and in dissatisfaction.
Only question I had is, I wouldn't mind hearing from the president of the faculty senate from each Washington High School and Jefferson High School. What is, before we write the letter, what would be everybody's thoughts to have them here at our next meeting, which is an evening meeting, and I believe they could potentially make that.
I certainly would like to address that. Another one of the issues that the employees of the public schools in our county have expressed, there is a very retaliatory nature within the system. And I do not, I certainly have no problem with people wanting to come and express their, frustration and their opinions on the matter. I do worry that most people won't do that because they're afraid. I have had people reach out to me to tell me that very thing. They're very concerned about the security of their position. And I think while I have no problem with that, opening the floor to do that, let them do that. I know that what they really truly want is our action on this matter, and not just say what you want to say. Go ahead. They can do that. They can go to school board meetings and do this very thing. But and that's fine if they want to come here and do that. But I really do believe that they want action, which is why they sent us these letters. I think we need to shine some sunlight on this and clean it out.
I have a different opinion on the matter. I think primarily that we have to keep our focus on what our statutory duties are. We are not the school board, and if you're upset with that, perhaps, you should run for the school board and have more of a direct impact on this issue. I do feel there, some people don't understand the reasoning behind the action, and I certainly didn't. But I spoke to some school board members and got some answers. So I understand where they were coming from. It has been an intensely tough years with COVID and the amount of substitutes and trying to keep the schools going and make them worthwhile for the kids and for their education. So I don't even want to step in that role. I can't imagine trying to manage it. So, the school board could do the same thing to us. Impact fees were reduced to $1 for schools, which I think is atrocious. So I don't see drafting a letter of no confidence to the current school board as a beneficial action to anyone. We need to cooperate at the levels that we can, but we're not managing the schools and they're not managing the county commission. We do interact on some subjects, mainly impact fees. And they are, we're all important components of a community. But I think we need to stay in our lane.
My answer to that is they involved us by sending us this letter.
Who involved us?
The faculty senates of both of our high schools in our county, to the best of my knowledge, this hasn't happened before, unanimous vote in the majority of the school board members by both of our high schools in the county. I think that.
Well, I understand that, and that's citizens sending us letters, and I get tons of them, and they're good.
Well, this is.
Faculty senate.
Yes.
I understand that. Yes.
Okay.
But we don't have authority over faculty senate.
But there are things that we can do to help. And I believe we should.
And that's why I would like to hear more from the president of the faculty senate. I know you had mentioned some retaliation. Well, they wrote the letter, but then signed their name to it. So I don't think they would have a problem coming here and we hear from them, because I would personally like to hear from them before we do anything. I mean, I'm not opposed to writing a letter. I don't know if it would be as such as a vote of no confidence. I don't think that's our, I don't think that's what we're here to do. But maybe, I don't know what type of letter, but maybe something of some encouraging to the state board to say, hey, maybe look into this. I don't really know, but I do agree to some Commissioner Tabb's comments. We need to stay in our lanes as commissioner.
Right.
We're a county commission, they're the school board. They did bring this to our attention, so I think we should owe them an invitation to our next meeting and ask them to present what they have to present to us. I think that's the first, I think it should be the first step.
I think the first step is writing a letter, and then we can open the floor if they would certainly like to have something to say, give them that time to say it.
Yeah.
The problem is when people go and speak to the school board, they're not heard, they're not listened to, and completely dismissed. So that's why they reached out to us. And while there isn't much we can do, there are some things we can do to help. And I'd like to also remind everyone that this is not just a school board issue. These are citizens of our county. These are people who vote. These are people who care. These are our children. I have a student in the high school here. I care very much about what's happening. And I understand very much about staying in our lane. I didn't involve us in this fight, but I do believe that they want us to act. We can do both. I think that we should do the letter, and I'll be happy to have that drafted, and we can go over it. And if they would like space and time to speak at our next meeting, I have no problem with that. I would encourage it. But I do believe we need some action on this quickly.
Mr. President, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that the county commission draft a letter of a vote of no confidence regarding the Jefferson County Board of Education to the State Board of Education based on the reasons presented by the Senate faculty, the change in the semester exam being a substantial change that was not raised for public review. It was moved, our proposed weight was 10%. It was the grade was dropped to 3%. The weighted grade was dropped to 3%.
We have a motion on the floor.
A second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
I'll just say that I do understand Commissioner Tabb and Commissioner Salver's concerns about staying in our lane. But I do believe that this is an issue as a county commission and as leaders in the community, that if all we can do is speak out and say that, this is something parents, teachers, that overall our community is rejecting this, and the board repeatedly refuses to listen to their parents and their constituents. It's something that I think we should speak on for the county commission.
Okay. Any other comments? I would like to hear from the faculties. I'm not opposed to writing a letter. I will be voting no. I just want to hear from the faculty senate chairs first. I would prefer to hear from them here at our next meeting. So any other discussions?
If I could just clarify one thing is, so just so we were clear, do you want to draft a letter and then present it at the 19th commission meeting?
I certainly could do that.
And then at the same time, have the faculty senate president report out? Because I just want to get the agenda.
Sure. Must we wait until the 19th meeting? I could draft this letter in short order and email it to everybody for their approval.
Because I think that would have to be an actionable item.
Oh,
Open session.
Okay.
Open session
Yes,
item.
yes,
Yeah,
okay.
so for the purposes of getting the agenda set, you want us to say, so you'll present the draft letter
Sure.
at the 19th commission meeting, and then also we can reach out, or you can reach out to the president of the faculty senate to come in and present.
Mhm.
We can get that. Would you like to do that?
Certainly, I
Okay.
can do that.
I just want to get the
I think we need
agenda.
to take the vote that
Yeah.
The motion's on the floor right now. I think we need to take the vote
Yeah.
for that action. can be
Yeah,
taken.
we'll take the vote to draft a letter first, and then we'll maybe get some other discussions here.
Okay.
All right, is there any other discussion over the motion? All right, here, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
All right, motion carries 3-2. Next, we will draft a letter. Well, we will have that on the agenda at our next meeting. And do we need a motion to have Commissioner Kraus or our staff to reach out to invite the Senate faculty presidents to our chairmen to our next meeting?
I think it would be most appropriate if our staff did that.
Okay,
We can certainly do that.
okay.
Okay.
I'll move a motion to ask our staff to reach out to the Senate faculty chairman, chairman and chairwoman to invite them to our next meeting and have them on as an agenda item. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of having the Senate faculty chairs at our next meeting, inviting them to our next meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Motion carries 4-1. All right, I think we covered everything on that one. Discussion, agenda item number 7, discussion and consideration of potential action on opening sessions of the Jefferson County Commission with a prayer. I'll turn this over to Commissioner Cross.
Thank you. I did make some notes because it does, I don't want to forget anything, and this is very, very important. I would like to say, Psalm 127, verse 1, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Benjamin Franklin quoted that truth before the Constitutional Convention on June 28, 1787. In that speech, he recognized that God governs in the affairs of men, and that our political endeavors are bound to fail without his aid. The West Virginia House and Senate both open with a prayer, as do the legislatures in nearly every state. I do believe that the Jefferson County Commission should follow suit. By asking for God's blessings on our deliberations and our actions, we can overcome divisions that have held us back, and we can ensure that we move Jefferson County in the right direction. I do think that it is very important that we open these meetings with a prayer before the pledge. I believe when we do so, we invite God into the room and the Holy Spirit. I believe that that is necessary. This commission for a very long time have had a very hard time, and this could only help.
So this is actually something I know a fair bit about. When I was working on my master's, I was a fellow at this group called the First Liberty Institute. And I know there was concern in the community about, is this legal? Does it open up to lawsuits? And it is legal, but it has to be done in the right way. So I'm very much in favor, and I agree with Commissioner Kraus, but I'm guessing we'll have to work with Nathan a bit on drafting something up, because I know it has to be voluntary, not coercive, and just legally not being preferential to one religion over another. So I'm very much in favor of opening in a prayer. I know I think most of us here are Christian, but I know that we won't be able to explicitly say we're going to open in a
Christian prayer, of course.
I'm very opposed to this. We have folks that are agnostic. You just mentioned Christian. I mean, we've got Quakers and Baha'is, and there's Judaism and Islam. You're ignoring or implying that our prayer may or may not reflect that. I think just as the previous action, it's a sticky wicket, and it just is not the way. I think each of us can pray in our own way. I mean, I do every day. I don't think we need to bring it to this table because it doesn't represent everyone in our county. And this country was built on religious freedom. And that is freedom to worship as you wish or not worship. And I think we need to recognize that before we come up with something that's part of our meeting that is just not correct.
I would like to say that I have heard concerns about this being an unconstitutional move, and it is not unconstitutional, and I have backup for that. If anybody had any questions about that. I also wanted to respond to that and to the idea that different religions who would mock Christianity and Judaism and such would come forward. And to that I say, let them. If they want to come and make a mockery of things, that's their business. But I do believe that it says a lot more about them than it does about us. And I would also like to say, there's no prayer in this room. And look at what's happened. There's a lot of people distrust our government here. And I do believe that prayer could only help us.
I'm sorry you feel there's no prayer in this room, because I can pray while I'm sitting at this table.
Okay.
So you need to open your mind to other avenues of worship and thought and prayer.
God asks us to pray, and I have no problem with how you pray. I would prefer that we pray before our Pledge of Allegiance, just like almost every legislature in this entire country. And that is how I feel.
I would just like to bring up one item. Yeah, I did just a tad bit of research on this, and just so that everyone's aware, I think it was the city of Parkersburg, they were recently sued and lost a case over having prayer at their meetings. It's something that we have to be very careful of. I'm not opposed to prayer. I think the better route to take is just pretty much what we did before the meeting today and just have a moment of silence. I'm not opposed to having a moment of silence. I think when we open up just to any type of prayer, we open ourselves up to some type of liability. And I'll certainly be on our legal counsel to chime in if you like, so we'll maybe do some more research if you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, there are ways it can be done.
Yes.
It has to be very carefully done, and you have to not advance or denigrate
Of course.
any particular religious faith.
I would like to say about the Parkersburg case, that had to do, that did not say that it was unconstitutional. What it did say was that it imposed some limitations on how you do it. And I'm fine with that. I'm not saying we need to pray only to Jesus Christ. I'm saying we pray to God. And that, I do believe is necessary and helpful, especially here and these days.
Okay.
But there are ways to draft a policy, and I do believe that we should work to do that. We should vote to do that by the next meeting. And I'm happy to help with that. I've done a lot of research on this myself.
Anyone else have anything you want to add to that?
I would be interested in having Nathan review and possibly draft something up. Because I do know that there's to be certain stipulations. I would love to see something.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm perfectly willing to do that. It's, it just has to be done in accord with the way that the Supreme Court has looked at this. And I would say that the Supreme Court, in my past life, I dealt with a lot of constitutional law issues, but the Supreme Court has almost recognized a separate category of thinking with regard to legislative prayer. And they recognize that it is a long-standing tradition from the colonial times, but they have put certain limits on it. And like I said, advancing religion of a particular group, denigrating a religion of another group, or limiting the limiting it to just one viewpoint, things like that are not okay. So,
Right.
but you can draft a policy to do that.
So, yes.
So I'd be happy to look at it if you want me to. Bring something.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll look at it.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I want to go ahead and make a motion that Jefferson County Commission move to open sessions for the county commission with prayer, and that Nathan draft some type of guidance around opening and prayer.
I second that.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion?
We don't have discussion.
Okay.
We've kind of had discussion
I think
before the
you're right.
motion.
I think you're
That's
right.
okay.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Motion carries. All right, next, moving on to budget, number 8, budget revision guidelines, discussions, and adopt a budget revision policy that addresses both Senate and internal budget revision processes and approval by the county commission based on West Virginia Auditor's local government services budget revision and guidelines. I'll turn this over to Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you. So I believe I provided in the packet the budget controls report out of the West Virginia State Auditor's Office. And some of the things I wanted to call out is, revising the budget. The revisions must be made prior to obligations and expenditures of funds. This is on page 36 of the handout in the agenda. Sorry, kind of page 2, but it's page 36. The revisions must be made prior to the obligation and expenditure of funds and with prior written approval of the state auditor. When an object of an expenditure is in danger of, sorry, I didn't read that correctly. The county clerk or the clerk of the county commission through the bookkeeping and accounting records should alert the county commission and or other elected officials and department heads when the object of expenditure is in danger of being over expended, so that there aren't enough funds appropriated for certain expenditures. Elected officials and department heads may not transfer funds from one item of their budget to another item without approval of the county commission. They may not solicit approval directly from the state auditor to revise their budget. So this says to me that that is both internal and the state budget reports or transferring of funds. All expenditures of a department are to be budgeted, properly classified, and charged to the department. The county commission must ensure that there are adequate budgetary appropriations exist in an object of expenditure under the department prior to any obligations or expenditure of funds. So I believe this does include internal budget revisions. I won't read the whole document. Those are just highlighted highlights that I had extracted out of the document that's in the agenda packet. There's a couple scenarios also that were provided and a summary. My concern is obviously recent invoices that obligated the county to a debt where there were not appropriate funds in the account. So I want to direct everybody to the handouts that are the county commissioners to the handouts. We recently had a couple outstanding invoices that this governing body decided to, that's also in the minutes, is appropriate or approve $4,455 to be paid. When we appropriated funds on July 1st in materials and supplies, there was $1,000 in that account. There were not enough funds to cover the invoices. So I've just given you historical information. These are budget reports, which I'll get to next, but are later in the agenda. But these are just budget reports, and I kind of have them from July 1st through December in budget summaries. Now, there were transfer funds from professional services to cover these expenditures. The one major concern is that the commission, without the knowledge or looking into this, approved expenditures in $4,455 at the last commission meeting. And the balance in this account is $3,206. So the governing body approved an amount beyond what is actually budgeted in that account. The outstanding invoices actually total $2,393. Those invoices have been approved, and we do have a remaining balance of $812. Some other pressing concerns, we're headed into budget season, and how can we appropriately set funds aside for accounts and in departments? If we have money, we set aside $70,000 in professional services. This money was moved from professional services to materials and supplies to cover those invoices. We're here in January. We have 5 more months left of this fiscal year with $800 left in that materials and supplies account. How can we as a governing body budget and appropriately go through the budget process when money's constantly being moved between accounts to cover expenditures? I just don't know like how we can consciously do that and not try to get the budget as close as possible, and not know that these internal budget transfers are occurring. Although, I mean, I could technically argue that office furniture is not materials and supplies, but I won't go down that path. Which leads me to, I do believe every budget revision should be made aware to, even if it's internal, to the county commission for a matter of public record and for our knowledge and approval on that. Which leads me to purchase order policy. We have a purchase order policy.
What I'll do is, you want to include all these in your discussions?
Yes.
8, 9.
Yeah, they're all kind of, except for the last one, they're all kind of related.
Okay, all right, we're going to talk about, just so the public
Sorry,
knows,
yeah.
sorry, is 8, 9, and 10. 9 is purchase order invoice policy 305. Review that and implement policy 305 to be consistent with generating purchase orders for goods and materials prior to ordering, taking, delivery, such items. And number 10 is budget reports.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Sorry. And if most people recall, if you, back in August, I believe it was, the county commission appropriated $40,000 into professional services for a PR firm, specifically for emergency services. And so the money was moved from professional services to materials and supplies, which tells me perhaps we didn't need to move as much money to professional services if the money was there that could be moved to cover other debt obligations. We do have a purchase order and invoicing policy that exists. I pulled it off of the county website. I have spoken to the folks in accounts payable, the clerks in Ms. Shadle's office, and Tyler does have the capability of enforcing, if we enforce or implement this policy, of making sure that these things are triggered. I made a couple revisions or requests on this. I don't know if anyone else looked at it or not, to this policy. But basically how the purchase order policy would work is we appropriate the funds for the departments. A department wants to spend those funds, they would submit a purchase requisition through the Tyler system, which would then go to accounts payable. If there's not appropriate funds in the account to cover the request, it would be flagged. It would then go back to whatever department head or whoever submitted that request, and that would prompt that person to say, hey, we don't have enough funds to purchase this. If there are enough funds in the account, the purchase requisition would earmark those funds and set it aside, and then the AP would issue a purchase order for those funds. So we know those funds are there before you take delivery of merchandise, materials, supplies, or services. So those funds are already set aside. So I think we really need to consider implementing this purchase order policy so that we're not constantly running over and not constantly doing budget revisions. I do know some things are unavoidable, like fuel, electricity. I know we're up against inflation. There are some emergency things that are unavoidable, but those items still need to be brought that immediately need to be paid. And I think that's even outlined in this purchase order policy as well. It's clear in this policy that if there are insufficient funds within the department and department's overall budget to purchase an item and a budget transfer revision is not approved by the commission, then it is the responsibility of the purchaser to return the item. My main concern is committing the county to a debt and then we're reactionary to figure out where we're going to find that money instead of approaching it of we budgeted for this and the money's appropriated for this and here you can go purchase this and avoid committing the county to debt after the fact or taking delivery of supplies or services after the fact and then expecting this governing body to come in and figure out where we're going to pull the money from. And I don't think we can go into a budget season eyes wide open and appropriately do our jobs in balancing the budget if we've constantly got a moving target on having the appropriate funds available for purchases.
So since this is my wheelhouse, could I maybe make a comment?
If you want to come up here and say,
Oh, yeah.
please do.
Okay, no, sure.
And so my question, I had seen your question on the paper. You're asking what you want to change is you just want to insert the county commission in here along with.
Sorry, I didn't bring those up. I was hoping everybody would have changes, but yes, so 2.0, authority is county clerk, sheriff, and county commission. And of course, the vendors obviously go through, these are just some things. 4.0 vendors are authorized by the county clerk's office. I believe that is accurate. Is it, Jackie? Okay. And I'm just highlighted a couple things on page 2 of the policy. The purchase requisition is automatically submitted by the system to the commission staff, which would be our finance director, to be included in an agenda packet. That's if there aren't appropriate funds. The purchase requisition won't go through, the PO won't be issued. That would give the finance director an opportunity to let us know that there aren't enough funds in there. And then page 3, it's a minor thing that if the budgeted line item does not have the necessary funds to pay the invoice will not be processed for payment. So to me, you have to have the purchase order instead of the invoice. It will be the purchaser's responsibility to complete a budget revision in the finance system or submit to our finance director and to present that to the commission. I just removed obtain electronic approval from the finance director and or commission. I think it's imperative that the commission is aware of, all the funds. And then page 4, I read this. I just added budget transfer or / revision. I realize we submit things to the state, and I know we submitted a $40,000 change for that PR for ESA in a state budget revision, and we approved that. It's just when you look at the budget report, it shows we have originally budgeted 70,000 and there's 105 in there now. So it looks like we only made a revision of 35,000. So that's why I think it's imperative for the county commission to know where funds are being moved and approve that for a matter of public record. So page 4 at the bottom, either exception requires the department manager to submit a purchase order and budget revision through the agenda at the next regular meeting. Again, this is dealing with there not being adequate funds in the account to cover the request. There are 2 exceptions in here related to emergency purchases and grant purchases. And it gives you examples on those, anything, and what the emergency purchases deal with. So I just think the governing body, as we move forward, I don't think we can appropriately, we need to really enforce this instead of committing the county to debts and taking delivery of services and items and materials, and then we're on the hook for the debt. I will say, in relation to those invoices, I provided these 2. The order dates on these invoices are from, this is particular to Miller's, June 15th, 22 through June 23rd, 22. And then the invoice dates range from July 20th to September 7th. There weren't adequate funds in the account at that time that these invoices were generated or these orders to approve these. We had $1,000 in the account. Those funds were moved in October. And then after digging through the budget report, you can clearly see, I think I marked that for you guys, is 5,000 was added to materials and supplies and taken out of professional services. So I just think we need a different way of doing business and spending county funds and appropriating county funds. And we need to go into this eyes wide open. So I think it begs a good hard look and some revisions to this. And I was hoping all of you would take a look at this purchase order policy and offer any comments that you might have prior to today. But we can certainly bring this back. And then I'm sorry, I've kind of,
That's okay.
the floor is yours.
So I just wanted to say that I thought that that's kind of why I was hired, was to look at those things before I approve them. So if a budget transfer request comes across my desk, the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, what is the purpose of this? Do we have funds in the account? Is it appropriate to move these funds? And really, this policy 305 gives me that authority to do that on page 3. And that's part of my everyday job that I'm responsible for, or what I thought I was responsible for. What I can say is I don't think operationally it would be a great idea, only because how do I do my job every day if I have to wait 2 weeks to get an approval? And how do I buy things for the county, for the departments that need it? It would put a wrench in the works. But I mean, I'm at the pleasure of the commission, you know, I'm here to serve you. So what you decide is up to you, but I will say that I think it would throw a wrench in the works because that's just not how we've done it historically here. And it really kind of seems to be working. I mean, I see your point, but we have to have some flexibility to be able to move funds between one account or another. And we don't know at the beginning of the budget year, actuals can be a completely different story than our budget. Like at the beginning of the year, we thought X was going to happen. Well, guess what? X didn't happen. And we have to take funds and move things around. So I haven't seen anything that is out of line or inappropriate. I know that these county government, this guideline to the budget process, these are guidelines, but our policy is very clear that that is my responsibility and that is what my position was stood up for, to monitor that and to make sure that we are being good stewards of those taxpayer dollars. That's very important to me. I've been working with federal government funds for 15 years. So, and as a citizen, I think that that's extremely important. So really I also have noticed that there aren't a lot of budget revisions coming through. I've only seen one in a month. So I don't see that the volume that I'm hearing, there's all this volume. I think there were like 5 last year when I looked it up in Tyler. So there are not a lot of those things happening. So I guess for me, I would like appreciate the flexibility to be able to be that, Hawkeye on the budget, and that there's a level of trust there. And that I would be happy to say, hey, this is what we did. And here's why we did it. Because there really isn't going to be anything that's going to get past me that would ever be unethical or anything of that nature. So
I just want to
That's all
clarify a
I'm
few
saying.
things. I am not implying that anything unethical was done. I can account for the $5,000 being transferred.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking anything away from your job. We meet twice a month. It would be just raising these transfers to the commission, so we're well aware of it. The commission, to my knowledge, are not receiving the monthly budget reports, which is something else that I'm going to be suggesting. So you have no way of knowing. After our last meeting, and I did ask for the budget report, that's what made me take a look at these things was, wait a minute. We budgeted $1,000 for one expenditure or one budget item, and there's $6,000 now. Where'd that $5,000 come from?
So
And
you're not getting the budget reports,
No.
but you looked at the budget report?
I have. I requested those right after.
Okay, so
The
you
last
got
meeting.
the budget report. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, I requested it. Accounts payable was generous enough to provide it. This is not trying to stifle your job. It's raising to the public, providing transparency and us that we know, okay, right now, looking at that budget report, I'm saying we didn't appropriate enough for materials and supplies, obviously. And we appropriated too much for professional services.
Yeah, and I think that's
Which-
part of it. That's totally normal. Like,
Yeah.
I've worked from other municipalities and
Well, I'm
that
just-
happens.
I'm
So
just
what
saying-
you do is you take that input of whatever happened and you say, hey, I'll do your trend analysis. Next year, we'll make that account less. We won't allocate as much. And that's part of the normal budget process.
Correct.
That'll be your
However,
input for the
we're not
next
going to
year.
purchase office furniture every year. So materials and supplies probably doesn't
Yeah,
have
so
to
if
be.
you know you don't need have office, a furniture purchase, then you just lower it by whatever the previous, and you do that analysis and you make that adjustment at
So
that point.
if I could chime in just for a quick second. So when I came in here in February, budget was already packaged up. And I had priorities that I wanted to see happen. One of those was to put people in chairs and put a couch in the reception area. Let me just make that clear. It's not in my office. And so I authorized Michelle Gordon to move money so I could make that happen. We wanted to have a reception area that was more appropriate for public to come in. And we achieved that. So that, I took it upon my prerogative to move money around so I could achieve those goals. We don't move money. I don't rob Peter to pay Paul, and I'm leaving Peter short for what Peter's supposed to do. We're not doing that. These are, I looked through the guidelines, and they are guidelines, but the policy trumps guidelines. I think these guidelines were written, and I read through these guidelines. I think they were written for probably counties that were small, that didn't have the robust counting systems that we have. These smaller counties with $4 to $7, $8, $9 million budgets, a little more complicated than that. So as the movement of money is typical in this type of government atmosphere. It really is. I've worked for government for 30 plus years, and it's the way we've always operated. One of the compromises that we could talk about is that if you allow us to do budget transfers without your authority, but we could bring those to you every quarter and let you know what they were. So if you wanted to have a debate about that, we could. In packaging up this year's budget, one of the things that I'm looking at is trends over the last year, what we spent money on, what is transferred, and right sizing those budget numbers and those account lines to make sure we do have enough money in services, we do have enough money in materials and supplies. Because in my opinion, as I dove into the budget, we weren't getting those lines right. So I've taken a deep dive and looked at those budgets, and I know where that money needs to go. Because you have to have confidence in me that, I'm going to spend it as wisely as I can, and I'm not going to be frivolous with my dollars. I apologize to this body for moving money to buy furniture, but I had staffed in chairs that were literally from the 70s and falling apart. And I felt,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to just send you guys a message and say, I just approved this budget transfer. It's from here to here and give a justification. I don't know if that's
We can go down that road if that's the pleasure of the commission. Or we can bring to you, every time there's a budget revision, we can bring it to this body, put it to a vote. Just understand that if it's emergency, it's gonna have to wait, or I'm gonna call a special session. If a boiler blows up, I'm gonna call you guys up and say we need to meet on Monday, because I gotta move money around to fix what's wrong. And I mean, that's okay with this body, I'm okay with that, but the way we've been doing it for the past 7 or 8 years, or since this policy was developed, 27 times, has been working.
It's not working, John, and this is not a personal attack on you or Krista. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm saying this purchase order policy needs to be implemented, and there is up to $10,000 for emergency before, if something impacts the public or anything, there is an account for 2 emergency situations in here, grant purchases and emergency situations up to $10,000 that you don't have to call a special session. I'm just saying, as the body that's appropriating, it would be nice, and in the effort of transparency, is to implement this policy and have those transfers raised to us so that we know where money's being moved and what's going on. It's not about trust or anything, but we were elected and tasked with being good stewards of taxpayer money. And I'm not saying you all are not, but I'm just saying it needs to be public, and we need to implement this policy.
We have the
In a
portal,
way.
right? So the public can go in and view all of the financials, right?
So Project Mountaineer is there, right? And it is a transparency portal, but if someone goes in, they're going to see what I saw. And then they're going to say, wait a minute, we have this account, we transferred $40,000 during a state budget revision. Or it went from 70,000 to 105, and there's only 35 when we approved 40. So they're not going to get the drill down that you can get from the budget report, or that we're looking at. And even the budget reports don't have all the details. You've got to do, I believe it's a general ledger printout that tells you, and it'll literally show minus out of professional services and added to, the revision that's done.
So what are you suggesting? I mean,
I'm suggesting we
suggested that
implement
I would
this.
communicate after I approve the transfer.
You-
And
I
that I
guess-
would let you know.
I guess the question is, do you want us, before we do a budget transfer, to put it on the agenda for approval? I think that's what I'm hearing.
I want it raised to the commission. I would like the commission to know that money needs to be transferred, that we're delinquent in an account.
Right,
that-
so what I'm suggesting is maybe we win both sides of it, right? Like, I don't have to wait 2 weeks and you guys get the information right away.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm suggesting.
Right,
Because if I
technically-
tell you right in the moment, like, you're gonna know it as soon as I know it.
Right.
Hey, I just approved this, this is appropriate, it's within our guidelines. We need to buy a fax server.
Right.
Like, or the phone system would
Correct.
work.
Right.
So,
So I'm
that's
just,
something I've seen already.
and it's implementing this and raising, you bringing it. I mean, you can let us know by email, but I would like it to be shared with the public that we needed to do this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could put that on the agenda, like, we did this budget transfer from this account to this account or something.
Yes, so, sorry.
So
Clerk,
you do
please.
accounts payable in the agenda and you list it out. Why can't you just list out the
The
internal budget
transfer.
revisions?
Yeah,
I mean,
if you want
Krista
to make it
could
public,
approve
yeah.
them in the system and have it go through, and then just to make it public knowledge, put it in the agenda.
So we're not
packet.
deviating really from the policy, so we'll approve it, and we'll note it in the agenda.
Yeah, and then it'll be
Yeah, I'm
public.
asking you to raise it to the commission. Yeah, that's, I'm
Okay,
not,
I thought you
I
were
think that's a good
ready.
no, I'm just saying the commission should know, and we should be following this policy.
So I think we are following the policy, but if you want us to note it in the meeting, in the agenda for the next meeting, we'll footnote it in there, absolutely.
So would it be, okay, just to include at any meeting or once a month, any budget transfers that you did, just note it, or do you want to do it immediately to us when we do it?
Well, we do the checks every,
Really depends
Yeah.
on
Every-
whatever, I mean,
yeah,
whatever.
every
Tricia
time there's
wants in that
invoices are
regard,
paid, we produce the manual checks report. Yeah.
Um,
And just so it's in the agenda packet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. I'm not trying to change anything or stifle
Yeah,
you
we
from
want
doing
to
your job.
accommodate.
I
yeah.
want transparency. And the reason I want this implemented is if we've earmarked, I want the purchase requisition. So when it goes through, before you generate a PO, is we have the money. If we don't, you've got to make a transfer and we're aware that you have to make.
Yeah, so we know we have the money because the budget was passed at
Right.
the beginning of the year.
Right.
Like, I don't need a PR to tell me if we
Correct.
have the money or not. Like, it's already in the budget. The purpose of the purchase requisition is really an accounting control. So the process is that you issue the purchase requisition and, obviously we have to have the authority to do that. And then that converts to a PO. When the item gets, the invoice comes in, there's a matching process that happens with the PO and the invoice. And that's how you know you're paying what you're supposed to be paying on the invoice. It has to match every single line to the penny. So if there's something on that invoice above and beyond that PO, then we would definitely call that into question, more than likely put the invoice on hold in the system and say, hey, this doesn't match what we thought we were going to pay. Why is it more? And that's our internal control method for making sure we're not paying more than what we should be, as a commission. And Tyler does a great job of providing us with the reports and we do the analysis, and Jackie's group does a great job with what I've seen. I'm very impressed with it. Guys are doing a great job with AP and payroll. So that's great.
But things will
yeah.
come up through the year. I mean, a typical example, we met internally the other day and we know that ESA currently works off of QuickBooks. We're gonna have to purchase QuickBooks and to put it into our system so we can manage that money as it morphs into Tyler. So we're gonna have to find the money, it's gonna come out of ARPA. But in a case where we didn't have ARPA money, we'd have to budget transfer that. And those are things that come up periodically. And I have to make decisions that staff come to me and say, this is the critical need, let's get it in. So I agree, we can note it in the agenda that we made these budget transfers. So you're aware of it, right? So we can do that. I have not seen, or maybe I've not seen the edit you made to this.
Yeah, I
Not
just
either.
lined it. I'll send it to you, scan it and send it to you.
Yeah, because
So this is PDF. I don't have it.
No worries. So if you could send that to us and then at the next meeting, we could have the red line version. We'll red line it in Word.
Mhm.
And then you folks can say, yeah, we're okay with this.
Okay.
And we'll have some red lines as well from the staff perspective. And we'll incorporate Commissioner Jackson's red lines in there. So you'll see them all.
If I can just take a quick second and just say, this all was before Jen, this was pre-Jen. But I do want to say about the purchase of the furniture, I completely understand why you wanted that. And I think it's very important. And I know you have some very good ideas about trying to get the public involved in what's going on in our local government. That is very, very important. And I applaud that. I think that's good. And the sooner we can get that started, the better. And if that, I understand where you're coming from. So I just wanted to say that. I think, and I hope I'm not overstepping, but I think that what Commissioner Jackson is trying to get across is that we just want to be very careful with other people's money. And, no offense intended, but just the checks and balances and the trust but verify, these are smart ways to behave. That's all. I think that's all. And I hope I'm not overstepping by saying that. I think the issue, can really be brought down to just that.
Yeah,
And what
I think
you-
transparency is
I think it's very, very clear
Transparency is.
to my directors that I don't get into the elected officials' world on this because I'm not going to mandate how they spend their money. We will watch it and we will make sure that this policy is in effect for those folks as well. So for the sheriff, the assessors, the prosecuting attorney's office, any budget transfers they want to do, you want to see those as well? I mean, I may be going outside of my box here. So I just need some direction from this body. Are you looking at just my reports? Or are you looking at all elected officials across the board? Because it's all commission, but it's all taxpayer money.
Correct.
It's
And
all the same budget.
while we appropriate for the electeds, and basically they can do their own internal transfers, you should probably, you have knowledge of that, correct?
I
If
would
the
think
sheriff,
everything
yeah,
should
I
come
think
through
it's
me
raised
unless
in
they
the
have
whole
staff.
packet.
Okay, good. So
Yeah,
we'll-
it's
we'll let you-
countywide, because we set the budget for every,
Yeah.
appropriate for everyone.
We'll let the elected officials know this will, they have to do the same thing. I can tell you that I drilled down pretty hard on my directors. No frivolous spending ever. You buy what you need, but you want to dig a ditch, you gotta buy a shovel. That's always been my philosophy. So we're not buying gold paper clips, we're buying steel paper clips. And trust me, my staff can tell you that, we're very, very careful how we spend money. I'm very conscientious of that. Because that's what is.
And me even more so.
Well, running the government is just like running a business, any business. And when you start off at the beginning of the year thinking you're going to have expenditures in one item and then something else will happen. I know, very familiar with the farming business, and Commissioner Tabb as well too. We might only really have some budgeted for mechanical problems of a certain amount. And as you know, things go sideways quickly and you have to transfer money around and do what you have to do, because you don't never know when engine one fails, or engine two in the combine and the grain truck, and so on and so forth. I do want to say what transferring money from professional services to materials and supply, that is perfectly normal. That was perfectly acceptable, and it was nothing was broken, or policies were broken on that aspect of it. I think we're making a little bit bigger issue than we should, but I think we should also every month have a report, like you said, and we can do a red line. You can do a red line revision and bring back to us.
So I'll get yours.
Yeah, I'll send you mine.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring up, it would be nice for the commission to have the budget report every month, so we can look at that.
Definitely.
And if you want to, you just prefer to just email out to us on the 30th or the 1st, or how we go.
So when you say budget report, there are about 10 budget reports in Tyler.
Yeah.
Is there a specific one you would like?
So what I have from accounts payable is once the check run, so if I ask for one today, a budget report, year-to-date budget report, any of the checks that were processed or approved, those invoices, I believe yesterday, or were cut today.
Yeah.
They would be on here because they've been
Oh,
approved
so
and they
you're
came
talking
out.
about an AP report that comes
Yes.
out of Jackie's office?
Yes.
Well, I think Christine.
Disbursements. She's talking about disbursements.
So it's almost like real time what's come out and been
On
committed.
that report.
It just says budget report, right?
I have another
It
question.
says year-to-date
Could-
budget report.
Could you set all of us up in read only and just give us, instead of taking time to send it out, could Tyler?
I'll tell you what, it might not be a bad idea. We can all give you a quick down and dirty college training, and you just go in system secrets.
That's what I was thinking of.
I will just bring up,
We'll make sure you
being
have-
someone that's been going in and approving the invoices, all of the, I've tried to go look at year-to-date budget report. None of those fields are accessible to me.
So do you want to see budget data or disbursement data? Those are two different
How we're
things.
spending, so
Because-
we're
okay,
asking
so
you all
can I-
budget revisions and stuff to come.
Yeah, so expenses aren't the budget.
Correct.
Expenses are just.
Yeah, I'm well
line on the
aware.
income
But the
statement.
budget report at least tells us what we appropriated, what the revised is,
So you
and
want to
what's
see,
left
yeah.
in the account.
So that sounds like that would be in the budget processing module, and that would be under the budget projection.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
numbers should be.
Vivian can probably,
there. So you need
tell
two
you.
reports. You need a budget report and you need a disbursement payables report. So you need two things. So one would come out of my office, one probably come out of Jack's office, but you're right, we need to get you training just so you can go in there and run that.
Yeah, instead of you printing them out, if you could
Yeah.
maybe talk, I could push this in a motion or however you want to do it. Perhaps you could just see if Tyler can have us a read only, and then we wouldn't have to print
yeah.
those out every
I
month.
have to
And then
actually.
we could go in there live time and read only, just on the read only and look at this stuff. So it's not taking time from your.
production on the top.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's the database, production. So we
Yeah.
have a training database and we have a test database and we have a production database.
Vivian can probably tell you exactly.
So
I
that's
just did a
live.
monthly budget report and she just generated it, so
Okay.
that's, she can probably tell you exactly how she pulls it.
And then if you find out that they don't have a read only, maybe we'll have to send out copies. I don't know.
Oh, we can.
I think they
Set up
would.
RAID
We'll
only.
check access.
Yep.
The roles.
So are you okay to bring that back to us at the next meeting?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
But we're gonna have to put folks through some Tyler training, so you know how
Yeah.
to maneuver through the system. It's a very difficult system to understand, hard to maneuver, don't get frustrated.
So
I have a-
I'll just take care of that AP report check. And the report, and then I'll send that out to everyone.
Okay.
I mean, I can do it after this meeting.
Are you gonna do that monthly? Is that what you're gonna do?
I think that's the thought process, right?
Monthly.
Or do you want it? I mean, well, it's a matter of
Monthly's
how long.
fine.
No.
Monthly is
Got it.
fine.
Did
Do we
you
need a
see
motion?
me on that, Krista?
Oh,
She's gonna bring
yeah.
back, John's
If you have
gonna,
any ideas.
I'm gonna
about-
send
John's
you
John's gonna redline it and bring it back. Does anybody have any objections for John to do that?
With a few minor
Okay.
tweaks.
Can I have that? Or, no, I mean, you can email it to me.
Yeah, I will email it to you. This is incorporating what I was requesting with the budget revision guidelines, is we're gonna print that report in the commission packet when those happen.
Yes, I think what we'll do is we'll get your red line version, we'll redline it, we'll bring it back.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then you guys can,
it's minor.
Does
and then you
anybody,
can ask us a bunch of questions, and you can tweak it, and then we can bring it back again. I don't want to kick it down the road too far, right?
No,
We're like 2 months into this process before we get this thing wrapped up. So, and we got, and then we'll get you the budget reports monthly. And then we need to get you into some time, and we can do all that remotely. You'll need to come in.
Okay.
Just to clarify, who would we be getting Tyler training for? Everyone?
that would be
Okay,
appreciated.
perfect.
Yeah. Thank
all right,
you.
does anybody have any objections to that? No, we don't need a motion. So they'll bring it
Do
back.
we need a motion, Nathan, on any of this? No, okay.
All right, it's just,
Thank you.
So we could onboard them along with.
We're tweaking the purchase order policy and then asking for additional. Okay. And then lastly,
I'll bring up
Oh,
agenda
sorry.
number 11. We'll move to agenda number 11 now. Discuss possibly the possibility of moving our commission evenings to make it accessible meeting for constituents. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Jackson.
yeah, so I've had several people, constituents contact me, asking if there was a way that we could make the commission meetings, more convenient or accessible to the general public. I know we have one, the first meeting of the month is during the day. Some folks that work can't even participate remotely because they're working. I believe at some point when you were campaigning, you mentioned possibly finding out how we could be more accessible to the public. I believe Commissioner Kraus did as well. So I wanted this commission to entertain having both of our meetings, the first and the third Thursday of the month in the evenings. I know this might require staff to either adjust their schedule or whatever to accommodate in order to continue the hybrid with the remote access for people that still can't make it in. But I would like to find a way that we can meet this request for our constituents and be more accessible so they can participate and engage in our process of governing the county.
Does anybody have any comments?
I was just say, I did say it during my campaign, and I do think for working people, it's more feasible to have evening meetings. But I think when I read in your agenda or summary, it said 6:30. I think that might be too late because our meetings tend to go on, and I don't want to get into the thing where our meetings are regularly 10. Because that's not realistic either.
It's way past my bedtime.
I mean, right now we have, we typically on our evening meeting have agenda items that are more, the public is more interested in seeing public hearings and interviews. The biggest thing is interviews for boards. like today, everything on our agenda for the most part, 2, 3, and 4, I don't think there's anybody in the public would really give two hoots about our perfunctory items that are on our agenda. And typically we have more, we tend to reserve more items for our Thursday meeting for the public to attend. I don't see a big uptick in people attending those meetings. I would be just fine leaving the schedule the way it is. We do have online, they can participate online, they can just call in, they can, and then we do have the Thursday meeting for interviews to allow people to come in so they're not working. I don't know, just my two cents, but that's how I feel.
I think it would be worth a try just to see if participation picks up. If we find out participation doesn't pick up, then we could consider going back, reverting back. But I'm just trying to satisfy the request of, the constituents and the residents of the county so that they can participate and, engage with us more so than they can during the day.
Well, I am concerned, I feel we would have to increase staff's wages if they're, man the office. Everyone wants to be able to go into the county commission office during normal business hours and so forth. And then they have to be here for the meeting in the evening or any other department head or anyone like that. I mean, there is a remote option, and I know some people are limited on that because of internet. I just think it's asking a lot of our staff, and we have professionals that come to our meetings and make presentations and so forth. And, whether they're subcontractors or whatever, and they have to travel, and I just think it's, I think we're doing well with the option of morning or a day meeting and an evening meeting. And I know there's some folks, since I'm a senior citizen on the board, that won't drive at night, or shouldn't drive at night, let's put it that way. So I think it's the best way to accommodate everybody. I know it won't suit everybody every meeting, but we've got a variety within our constituents, and I think we have different options for people to attend. And, we're all available by email. My phone number is in the phone book. If they want to talk to all of us, they can make the phone calls about the issue or a group email. And I certainly get a lot of those too.
I do agree with you. I would personally like to see even a budget cost. What additional is going to cost us to have an evening meeting with our staff?
So going to Jane's point about evening meetings, we do, we have to cover the building over here because we got business all day. So I tell my staff, you're coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning and you're staying until whenever we finish at night. We try and flex their time a little bit or pay overtime to accommodate those. So that's the other thing that we have to work into the budget for next year is the overtime for evening meetings. We really wasn't really put in there this year to a high degree. I try to flex their time and just say, we'll take 4 hours off the next day, even out your week, but then we get busy. There are times when Soraya's out and I'll cover the front desk. Or Jessica will cover the front desk. So it's a bit of an overtime burden. We're just trying to be fiscally responsible and not eat into that line too much, because then I have emergencies come up and I need to dive into my overtime budget.
Sure.
Ice storms and snowstorms and all those kind of things that happen.
I can see, I'm sorry, did I?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can certainly see both sides of it. I don't know how easy it would be for our good ladies over there and gentlemen to move their schedules around in order to accommodate. But at the same time, and when I was door knocking, I did hear the same complaint a few times, a handful of times. I can't ever get to a meeting because I'm working during the day and I can't watch because fill in the blank, whatever issue. So I get that. And I think Jane is correct. People certainly can reach out over email or a phone call. But I do want them to know, I've heard them, we're hearing them, we would like to try. Does anybody have an objection to trying for a period of 3 months or so, a short period, give it a shot and reevaluate? Or,
Well, I'll tell you what we could do for the next 3 months. We could take a head count at this meeting,
okay,
and then we could take a head count at our evening meeting and just see the difference. And we have an evening meeting option now.
yes,
Why don't we just observe it and see if there's an uptick in participation on our Thursday meetings? We don't have to move this meeting to the evening. We already have one in the evening. I think we should just observe it for the next 3 months. And then if we do it, we're going to have to talk about budgetary items and move it around. So maybe starting at our next meeting, start taking a head count and just have a, what do you think, John?
We can do a head count online too.
Yeah.
To see how many people are chiming in the evening and during the day.
And so maybe at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the second quarter, you bring back a head count to us, and so we can see exactly how much participation we're getting on that. And that would give us an opportunity to make a more informative decision.
And we'd be able to justify any kind of budgetary.
Yes, I agree.
Right now we're gonna get a little crazy here in January and February because budget hearings sort of bring you folks in at weird times and weird days to get through. And we actually have for you today a budget calendar. So Krista has it, she's gonna give it to you. We're gonna email it to you as well. Hot off the press, we just finalized this yesterday. So this gives you all the dates that we're going to meet and how we're gonna set up those budget presentations. We're doing it a little different this year, trying to just simplifying it. I'm just organizing a little bit differently. So I'm not gonna do head counts at those meetings, just regular commission meetings.
Yes, sir.
Would that be okay? Because I think that would throw your stats off.
so just so I'm understanding, we won't be changing anything at the moment, but what we'll do is take a head count. Is that where we are?
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
Okay, and if there are more people that join the evening meeting online as well, that we would then
Yeah, I'll
consider.
get you those counts as well.
Okay,
So they'll factor in. Because that would tell you, well, there's people at home that want to watch but don't want to drive in.
right.
Would they typically drive in if they're online? Probably not. They're just going to keep doing their thing online.
Right, okay.
All right. Let me see, what else? We'll move on to,
So we'll table that.
yeah, we're gonna, if nobody has any objections, we'll just, if no one has any objections, our staff will report back to us sometime at the beginning of the second quarter. That's it. County administrator reports, I guess. You have anything?
The only thing was the budget calendar that you'll have. So I want to applaud Krista for coming in and learning Tyler super quick and diving into the budget. She's done an amazing job, and I can't say enough. We're really happy to have her on board. So thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, but there's nothing else that needs to become,
I need signatures.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear you.
I need signatures.
Signatures, okay,
Is
from,
that okay? You, that's that.
yeah, absolutely. What are we signing here?
This is so that we can have a
I'll get in line.
signature thing after, just because Secretary of State.
We can adjourn and you won't sign that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
This is just for grant application that you are now either putting the president and Krista can be the signatory for our grant.
Sounds like a good plan.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else needs to come before the commission? No, sir. All right. But if there are no objections, we are adjourned. Thank you all. I didn't.
Don't get in the way.
Two important issues. One is I talked to Jim, and he said that you need to call, this is a, and give him permission